LiSTNR production.
Hello, I'm Dan Mullins, Executive Producer of Crime Insiders. We have a new host for our forensics episodes. Catherine Fox is leaving to take up other opportunities, and we're joined by Dr. Liz Porter. I thought I'd take this opportunity to introduce Liz to our valued listeners. Liz is an award-winning journalist and true crime author who has a PhD on the work of the Victoria Police Forensic Science Lab. Dr. Liz Porter, welcome to Crime Insiders.
Thank you, Dan. I'm very pleased to be aboard.
You were originally a journalist. How and why did you become interested in forensics?
Well, I was on the Sunday Age, and I was at the same time very keen on watching such TV shows as Silent Witness. This was before CSI, so this was like the mid-90s. And I was always very curious as I watched the forensic pathologists at work, particularly one of them in another show called McCallum. They'd be standing at their mortuary table. You'd hear the crackle of their very thick rubber aprons, and they'd be chatting about their love lives. And I remember thinking, is it really like that? And of course, as a journalist, you have this wonderful privilege. You can just ring people up and say, I'd like to come in and find out if it's really like that. And the head of the Victorian Institute of Forensic Medicine, Dr. Stephen Cordner, was incredibly welcoming. And he said, yes, come in. And he organised about 14 interviews for me. I spent 3 days there. I watched a post-mortem, but I essentially followed one particular forensic pathologist over a week or so, and then I wrote the story. And that's how it started. And I returned to another forensic specialist later who I'd met that day, who was a forensic physician. And then I then became interested in pursuing what you might call the forensics of things. I wanted to look at trace evidence. And again, television drove me. I'd seen a TV drama that was inspired by the Russell Street bombing, which was a very traumatic event in Melbourne in 1986. And this was a fictionalised version of that. And here, basically, the perpetrators were tracked down because the forensic police were able to track the various components of the bomb. So I went to Victoria Police Media and said, I want a story like that. I want a story where the particular trace evidence solved the case. And they gave me a particular case, which I wrote up for the Sunday Age. And as a result of that, a publisher contacted me and said, that was a really good story. Do you have more like that? And I said, well, no, but I know where I can find them. So that's how my first book, Written on the Skin, came about, because I just basically started tracking down various forensic scientists around Australia and getting them to tell me about their best cases.
That's precisely what we're going to be doing here, and we're really looking forward to it. Tell us about your work focusing on what you call the real CSI, the way real-life forensic scientists solve crimes and mysteries.
What fascinates me, Dan, most of all about forensic scientists is their patience, how long it takes to do things. And there's one case that's Written on the Skin, involves a bombing in South Australia. And there, the particular police forensic scientist is absolutely a hero of mine for his patience, because one of the components of the bomb was a tin can which had particular markings on it. And he realised that they were the markings of an electric can opener. But could you match a particular electric can opener to a particular marking? Not known at that point. But he knew that one of the two key suspects' dads had an electric can opener in his kitchen. And so he set about doing some, well, what was pretty much world first research. He went and got a whole lot of different sorts of can openers and blades and a whole lot of different cans. He opened lots of cans. He photographed them. He spent about 3 months or 4 months scanning About something like 60,000, this is all by eye, 60,000 photographs looking for patterns and trying to match the markings to the markings on the actual suspect piece of a can from the bomb. And blow me down, he found it. And I thought, well, who could do that? So it's their patience. It's heroic patience.
So you've written 3 books on forensics, and it's really become your life's work now. And we're so excited to have you on board our Crime Insiders team, Liz.
Thanks, Dan.